Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is The Road to the Record, where I work to achieve mastery of 10 games in a hunt for the best score of the Decathlon. If you like what you see, remember to hit that like button. You want to see more? Hit subscribe. Let the games begin. This is Draft Day Sports College Basketball 2019, episode number 11. We're here in our third season now. The team's starting to reshape itself in my vision, and through the non-conference schedule, we are 7-4, the highest RPI we've had at this point yet. Same record as last season at this point, though. Now, as we move into this phase, little recap. If you watched the last episode, you already know what we're up to, but we'll make this quick here. So, we have two recruits. We've already grabbed both of them. Clint King to play power forward, and Justin Granberry, small forward. Both of them top 50 recruits. However, as it is the 4th of January, we don't yet have their SAT scores, and I'm just a little bit nervous about Granberry. King's got a 3.9 GPA, no problems. He will easily have the SAT score required. Granberry, maybe not. So I do still have some guys in reserve just in case. It takes a 980 SAT score, which really isn't very high. But for some students, 980 is asking a lot. So make sure that he gets that and that we retain both recruits before I leave those other guys on the wayside. Meanwhile, on the other end of things, again, we have that 7-4 record, but we are still playing without starting center Vernon Delord, who has a broken leg. He'll be back in a couple weeks' time. Before that, we move into the conference schedule, that most important part of the season, and we open up with Ole Miss. Mississippi is also 7-4, like we are, so we've got a pretty even matchup heading into this game. Meanwhile, on the national front, Kansas, the Jayhawks are number 1 in the nation, 13-0. Ooh, Delord is starting? Is he really? Wow. Okay. 48 endurance. So he's playing very much below the radar. Okay, let's see what happens, huh? And he subbed out just like that. About 30 seconds in. We'll see if he plays anymore. That's somebody who's very early in their recovery. So, quick scoring in this game. Bit back and forth at the moment. Ole Miss lead by 3. It's 10-7. We have not even had a rebound yet in this game, and they have had 6. We are shooting 4 of 7 from the field. That's keeping us in the game right now, but we do still trail by 4. We finally get our second rebound of the game. We're still -6 in that department, a -2 on turnovers, and they're shooting 7 of 11, now 8 of 12 from the field, 67%, and they've even had 8 free throw attempts to go with it. If they weren't 1 for 6 beyond the arc, it looks like they are perfect from 2 range. If I'm doing the math in my head correctly, and I most certainly am, 10 of 15 now, and literally all 5 misses beyond the arc. So Ole Miss is absolutely playing lights out here in the first 10 minutes, where they are literally perfect from 2-point range, and they are massively out-rebounding us, and they've only had a few turnovers. And they're getting to the free throw line to go with it. So you put all those factors together, and they are up by 11, and I might as well try to use a little timeout here and see if we can't get in. We're only down 10, so we've actually played pretty well considering the fact that they've been nearly perfect early in this game. Still trailed by 10 here, but at least the score has leveled a bit. Rebounds have also leveled a bit. We were -6 when it was 6-0. We're -6 now at 18-12. Our field goal percentage has dropped a bit. Theirs has dropped a lot. They now have 13 misses, 8 of them from beyond the arc. And unfortunately, they've also had a few makes. And the lead now 17 points, at least there for a moment it was. That was a terrible half for us as we trail 50-37 at the break. They are halfway to the century mark and halfway towards running us out of the building here. And this is a home game. So, massive gulf between the two teams. Crosby has 7 points. Watkins has 6. Williams has 6. Ramey has 6. But we have no top scorers. No one running away with this one. Crosby has turned the ball over 4 times. So we are absolutely missing Delord, who looks like he has not gotten back into this game since the opening 40 seconds when he then headed to the bench. And his endurance is not recovering at all. Therefore, he is not reaching that minimum standard to get into the game. So he literally played 40 seconds, and that is all for the day, as it should be. He really shouldn't have started in the first place. But we now trail by, well, nice little run here, actually. Little momentum going, and we're back into this game a little bit, down by 16 with just 12 minutes to play. Rebounds, ironically, still -6, exactly where we started, but we have 15 turnovers. So Ole Miss really pressuring us well. We're shooting almost identical, 44%. Free throws, almost identical. We've had just about as many makes on a few fewer attempts. Three-pointers, pretty similar. So really, that rebound deficit and that turnover deficit are the difference in the game. But here we are with 8 minutes to play on a huge run. And for a moment there, we had the lead down to a small margin. It's still within 8 at the moment. 71-63, getting a little bit of a run going here. Can we keep it up? The turnovers have closed a little bit. The rebounds have closed a little bit here. And it's 71-66. Momentum still going our way. Start to slow down here for the final 3 minutes of the game. We do still have some timeouts to use. 4-point game. Rebound deficit down to 3. Turnovers still at a 6 deficit there. But our field goal percentage has gone up quite a bit, back up to 46%. Theirs has dropped to 41%. So we are very much affecting their shot. We got 4 guys in triple-digit scoring. Rainey, Watkins, Williams, and Crosby. Runyon, he's still putting up some decent numbers for us, but he has 3 fouls. Watkins has 4. Harrington has 4. Those guys very much in foul trouble right now. And it's a 5-point game with a minute and a half to go. Oh, big bucket. Let's use the timeout here. Full timeout. We've got 2:30s left, just over a minute to play. It's going to take a lot to get the win here, especially trailing like the entire game. But a big, big dunk there. Layup, apparently, from Jefferson. Donnie Jefferson in for Crosby. Not sure why he's playing here. Another. It's Jefferson again with the monster dunk, and it's a 6-point game. 34 seconds. Let's use the timeout. 82-76. The 3 is good. It's a 3-point game. 23 seconds to go. Oh, ouch. And the ball? And the ball. What happened? What happened? They must have stolen the ball. They scored. And they got the ball back. Oh, so close. What a comeback to fall just short. Just short. 83-79. I don't see what happened there at the end. Oh, offensive rebound. Okay. So Williams made his first, it was a foul. Williams made his first free throw, missed the second, but Jim Lucas grabbed the offensive rebound. And then they essentially ran the clock out. Oh, that sucks. We were so close. We were within 3 points. Brilliant comeback. Great job by the team, but they still lost in the end. Ironically, the varsity basketball team that I coach did exactly this. We absolutely were outclassed rebounding early in the game, and then we dominated rebounds the rest of the game, got back into it. We went from a big deficit to losing by 4. Not the exact same scoreline, but the same deficit in the end. We had a brilliant comeback, and it came right down to the same sort of thing right at the end of the game. Not a missed free throw and offensive board, but final seconds, them having the ball and us not being able to steal it or get the foul to get them to the line. We tried, but the refs didn't give us the call. But anyway, so felt similar. Ramey for us led with 14 points and 4 assists, but also Jason Williams had 14 points and 7 boards. Watkins 13 and 7 himself. Crosby 11 and 8. So good days from them. Runyon not quite as strong today. 4 fouls, 3 turnovers, just 6 points. And we're still missing Vernon Delord greatly, as his backup Donnie Jefferson had 2 big scores there very late in the game, but still that was 4 of the 6 points he scored in the entire day. So we dropped the conference home opener, bringing our overall record down to 7-5. We're going to go ahead and finish off the week. We've got Boise State up next. Boise State is absolutely a game that I would love to get the victory in. This was the team that put it to us. Oh, Grant Harrington, sore leg, 6 days for him. So we're adding another injury here. He should be able to play through that, a sore leg. Anyway, Boise State was the team that beat us out in the tiebreaker a couple seasons back, the opening season, to have us relegated and them survive, and then they come right back the next season and get relegated, while we nearly rubber banded to get promoted back up. Team objectives a bit more bold this season, expecting a bit more from us. And Boise State, seemingly, 2 bad seasons, while we had 1 bad and 1 good. We should theoretically be the better team at this point in time. My team is playing well to have that 7-4 non-conference record. However, I think training-wise, we kind of lost something from last season to this season, and I don't feel like we're going to be quite as good. I think we could be a comfortable team well above relegation zone, but we just lost on the road at Boise State, a team that we really should be better than, and we lost by 17. Again, these injuries are wrong box score. Are certainly going to be a factor. But let's see what happens. Did we have Harrington playing? Yeah, he played 16 minutes. 5 of 12 shooting. He had 11 points. Williams had a quiet day, just 4 points. 1 of 5 shooting, minus 14. The starters really struggled. The bench actually played pretty well. Crosby a minus 19. Filling in for Delord. Delord, again, 1 minute in the game. Had a rebound, offensive rebound in that time before coming out. So same thing. He got the start, was healthy enough to start, but not actually healthy enough to play. All right, we're going to push right through the next week so we can get deeper into this season sooner. RPI has plummeted, losing the opening 2 games of the conference schedule. Next up on the docket is Southern Illinois. We're going to be on the road yet again for this one, so we very well could drop to 0-3 here. And that's definitely a bit worrying. Grant Harrington just about to come off his sore leg and get back to full health. Like I mentioned when we looked at the box score, he did play through it, but Delord still unable to go even though he apparently can do the tip-off. And then first dead ball, I look at him and go, wow, yeah, you're not ready to play, and sub him out and never let him back in. The AI, hey, it's going to do what it's going to do on that. But we'll see. I would think he's getting close to the point where, we saw him at, 48? And we are 0-3 now. And next up, we have a home game. Yay! But it's Hawaii, who are 12-2. And Hawaii has been flirting with the top 25 the last couple seasons. And I would think with a 12-2 record, they've got to be awfully close to that right now. Even though they are not in the top 25 at the moment. Just notice there are differences here. That's what I've been missing since the 2017 edition. It's there. It's just hidden a click away. So Edward Ramey is currently leading the team with that 7-7 record now. 12.6 points per game. Also 5.5 assists per game. It's Crosby with 6 rebounds per game. Most of the season off the bench. Power forward Runyon is leading the defensive battle with a block a game and a steal a game. Just over. And we lost to Hawaii. So we are 0-4. And suddenly, things are not looking good for us. Let's go ahead and take a look at the box score just for this last one. We'll bypass the one before it. Williams had a really bad game, but Runyon played quite well. He only started to really do so. Still, we are not... Yeah, there you go. Delord did not play at all. So finally, we get the recognition that he is not ready to go. He's still a week away from getting healthy, and we are very much worse for wear without him. It's really starting to show here in the conference schedule. It looks like we kept it close for a half, had some lead changes, battled for a while, led by as much as 4, so it's not like we ever dominated. They shot 55% from the field. That'll do it, especially when they're making free throws and we're not. 25 points for Cade Blakes. 8 of 13 shooting, 6 of 11 from the line. So no matter what we did, he dominated. 8 rebounds, 6 assists. No triple-double or anything like that, but that's still really big numbers for the shooting guard for the Rainbow Warriors. Okay, January 15th, I know we are getting awfully close to having an SAT score revealed, but not quite yet. Is it going to show up in here somewhere? No, don't see it. I know there's a way to find it, but that's okay. Alright, well, looking... Now, we've got Charlotte next. It's another road game. We have identical 7-8 records, at least overall. That helps. But the fact that we're on the road is going to make it difficult again. Here we are, 44% favorites. They've got an advantage at point guard, but otherwise we are pretty balanced. So if we were a home team, I would think we very well could win that game. After that, Georgia Southern, another team flirting with 500. We are at home, but they are heavily favored. And you can see matchup-wise, they are quite the gap on us. Central Michigan after that. Another one, heavily favored, similar to the first scouting report we just looked at. And then lastly, we've got Rice here of the next 4, all with pretty mediocre records, but all comfortably favored to win. Not good. Not good. We very well could drop to 0-8 here. These next 2, Charlotte and Georgia Southern, will probably be without Delord or on limited minutes. But finally, Central Michigan Rice, we could finally get them back. But we very well could be 0-6 by the time we even get to that point in the schedule. So this is not looking good for us at all right now. One thing that is looking good for us is our steals per game is 5th in the nation. So our pressure defense is working a little bit, but offensively we are absolutely struggling. Just 17 assists per game is 200th in the nation. Blocks, 296th. And then it's defensively where we're absolutely getting slaughtered. 320th. That's nearly last. 82.1 points per game that we're giving up. We're giving up a lot of assists. We're giving up a ton of rebounds. Yeah, that's rough. We're not getting blocked very often. We're not giving up a lot of turnovers, so we're protecting the ball well, but we're still giving up a couple turnovers more per game than we are scoring, and we dropped to 0-5. Georgia Southern next. Delord down to 3 days. We'll check this box score, the Georgia Southern one. We'll see if he played, how much he played. I have a feeling with it down to just a few days that he'll have at least played some. 15, 20 minutes, 10 minutes. We'll see. And can we finally grab a conference victory? Meanwhile, Jason Williams starting to step it up on the defensive front. His steals per game is up. Gonzaga now ranked number 1 in the nation. The undefeated teams are completely gone off the radar. Indiana, number 2 in the nation, at 17-1. Arizona is 15-1. Those two schools carrying the best records. Kansas has lost twice now. Meanwhile, we just keep on losing. Period. RBI actually not going down, at least right now, as we continue to lose games that we theoretically are supposed to lose. And lose we have done, as we just lost to Georgia Southern. Otis Ward picks up an injury, not a big deal, but finally Delord is recovered. And let's see what we got here. 2 new emails just means scouting reports, but Georgia Southern beat us soundly. They led most of the game. We never led by more than 2. They led by as much as 20. And let's see. Williams, 11 points. Starters absolutely getting outclassed. Delord, there you go. So Delord did play and was up to 16 minutes. 7 points, 5 boards for him, and fouled out of the game in 16 minutes played. Ouch. Really ouch. Harrington fouled out of the game. We are littered with fouls here. So, what was the damage there? 27 personal fouls to 16. That is rough. Nobody's going to win with that many fouls. And my key guys were all big minuses, other than Watkins at just a -5. So I seem to have a bench that's a bit deeper than most of the other teams in the league, but my starting 5 is quite inferior this year. Especially with the amount of fouls that we continue to commit. And we just shot 38% from the field while allowing 50. Alright, well, at least Delord is back. I like our chances going forward. But the damage is going to be pretty long-lasting, as we are 0-6 with 10 to play in the conference. We are dead last. Charlotte, 1-5, beat us. So their one win was against us. Luckily, we're only a couple games, well, really 3 games, out of the comfort zone right now. We could win 3 straight and get up there. Central Michigan, a 3-3 team. They are 7-10 overall, so we actually have identical records overall. It's just the conference one that's hurting. So, the Untouchables, we've already played 2 of those. Virginia Commonwealth, we haven't played them. Wow, Boise State 4-2, really? Georgia Southern 4-2. Okay. So we can see where the tough teams are, and we've played a lot of those already. So our schedule could and should get a little bit easier going forward. Having DeLord back should help. All hope is not lost yet. I still have hope that we can overcome this and get somewhere. Let's do one more week. See how things are looking. We're going to check in on those SAT scores, see if we've had those yet at the end of the week here. And then we'll see if we can't grab one. I don't like that the Central Michigan game is a road game. If it was a home game, I would think this is our place where we can grab that first win finally, but a little nervous with it being on the road because we already checked the scouting reports. We are not favored anywhere on our calendar. I think having DeLord back, though, is huge for a couple of reasons. One, it strengthens our starting 5, and 2, it greatly strengthens our reserves because our 6th man goes back to being a 6th man instead of having to be a starter and struggling to kind of keep up. DeLord is easily one of our best players, if not our best player right now, but there we go. We drop another game, 0-7, and again, we have another road game at Rice. It's our winnable games have been on the road, and then the tough opponents have been at home. No wonder we keep losing. I mean, sure, losing to Lord, going without him for nearly half of the conference schedule, absolutely hurt this season drastically. I mean, we were 7-4. It looks like we're about to drop to 7-12, and literally would not be able to get beyond a 500 record in conference because 8 is the halfway point if we lose this game. So we have to head to Texas, right? Rice, I believe, is in Texas. The Owls, and there you go, another loss. 0-8. Now we really do face a real threat in getting relegated this season. Because it's not like we're going to come out and, win 6 of the last 8 games or anything like that to go 6-10. And even then, 6-10 is not a guarantee. So now I'm looking at this going, crap, I think we're screwed. Okay, Kent State, next up, 11-10. We've got a chance. They've got a decent record. They're actually giving us a chance. It's at home. Tulane? Oh my goodness. Even matchup, really? But we're on the road, and our record is so bad that they're looking at us going, not happening. Okay, again, there's a chance. Toledo. Okay. DePaul. DePaul's bad, and we're at home. And they're not even giving us a chance. And they're better everywhere? Really? They were 0-11 in their non-conference schedule. And they're thinking DePaul's absolutely going to crush us. That is so sad. I think I've had one scouting report all season where we were actually the favorite. But we managed to go 7-4 in the non-conference schedule. But now we're hitting the conference schedule and just getting slaughtered. Kyron Kelly of New Mexico is the favorite to win the Player of the Year award. We are desperate for a win now, but first, do we have SAT scores? We do have SAT scores, and Granbury qualifies. So we're good to go. I wonder anyone on my list? No, they all qualified. So I did a good job of picking these guys out. Jolly was the one that I was nervous about, but at the end, he already favored us. That's why he was on the list. And he hangs on. It's okay. So we've got our 2 guys. We should. We've got letter of intent. So King, Granberry, we're done with recruiting for the year. No need to go back to that. What we need to do now, though, is find a way to survive this mess and quickly see that 3 is not enough. We need to get into the 4-win territory very soon. Very soon. Like, we need to win 3 out of the next 4, or we'll already probably be relegated. And that would even eliminate any conference tournament opportunities. So, Kent State, not an easy game. They are 11-10. But can we finally get a win? Yeah, every game matters. We're going to go one day at a time on this one now. The game is still 1 day away. So it should finish off this day. Meanwhile, on the national front, Arizona and their 1 loss, now ranked number 2 in the nation, Kansas. Another loss, but remain in the top 3. And Indiana, dropping a game, also come down to 4th place. A lot of the usual suspects up near the top: Kentucky, Michigan State, Louisville, Duke, Virginia. Not always up there, but usually nearby in 9th. Houston in 10th. That's a good record for them. There is New Mexico with the National Player of the Year favorite. They're in 11th. Alright, so I'm not going to watch through this game. I've got enough other things to worry about. But I do want to see the box score on it, so we'll take it 1 game at a time now. 8 games left to play. Oh, this is not going well. We lost by a lot. Oh my gosh, we are absolute garbage this season. Ramey, 22 points. I was worried at the beginning of the year, and then I was really surprised that we managed to go 7-4. My worries are now proving themselves to be grounded in reality, really. Delord, 8 rebounds, 10 points. We've absolutely been missing those performances. But he's back. We're still getting slaughtered. Driggers had 21 points, 7 rebounds. Power forward for Kent State there. And down we go. We've got Tulane next on the road, and they're 11-9. So, in all likelihood, we are about to round this week off with no wins in 10 tries. And we're going to have to go near perfect, potentially perfect, just to have a shot of staying alive. It's game day. Can we get a road win? We can't even win at home. It's not looking good. And our games aren't even close at this point. I mean, we're losing 15, 20 points a game. From 7-4 to 7-14.
You have new
21-point loss. Watkins had a few blocks in the game. Toledo and DePaul coming up. Toledo is a home game. Oh gosh, Ole Miss coming up again. 15-6, Middle Tennessee. There's nothing to see here, folks. Move it along, move it along. It's just a bloody victim that is our team laying on the ground. Nothing to see, folks. Nothing to see. I'm even afraid to look at the box score right now. Every game is ugly. Every game. Ramey, 13 points now per game, so his average has gone up just a little bit, but otherwise usual suspects in the same places leading the team. This is what is really costing us, because Watkins is a starter. He's a 2-star guy. Williams, starter, 2-star. Runyon, starter, 2 stars. Crosby has been a starter most of the season, 2 stars. Delord, there's our top guy, 2.5 stars. Missed a month and a half. Harrington, key player, 1.5 stars. Rainey, 2 stars. I mean, it's a very low quality team, but it's a team that finally grabbed a win. We are 1-10 now. Next up is DePaul, just 4-18. All 4 wins in conference though, so they are well above us in the standings. This is going to be that key moment. If we have any chance of staying above the drop zone this season, this is a must-win against DePaul. Their leading score is just 10.8 points per game. They're getting just 3.6 assists from their top guys, so they're very, very weak scoring. And we grabbed 2 straight wins. We got a streak going. All right. That's called putting a bandage on a gushing chest wound. Boise State coming up. That's a winnable game. That'll be at home to Southern Illinois. I don't know if we're at home or not, but that could be. Again, we're kind of replaying that first chunk of the season with road versus away. And oh my goodness, there is a change. Kyron Kelly, no longer the favorite to win the award. This is the first time that I've seen this in 75 episodes, counting back to the 2017 edition, that somebody who was the favorite to win the award is dethroned. Nate Rivers of Syracuse, now the favorite on the semifinalist list. It's literally been 100% of the time whoever was the favorite at the beginning of the year won the award by the end of the year and was the number 1 on the list throughout the season. So that is exciting stuff. All right, so we have 4 games left to play, and we still have a tiny chance of surviving. With those 2 wins, we are still in last place, but we have now leveled Charlotte. We've got DePaul that can be passed. Kent State and Toledo can be passed with 6 wins, possibly. And 4 straight losses from one of these guys could potentially. So our break zone right here is as high as Boise State that we could potentially get. We've got to get out of the bottom 4. Not looking good right now. Not looking good. Middle Tennessee is that next one on the calendar, and it's a road game. We literally have to go 100% the rest of the way to have any chance. At least 99%. I'm not liking it. I have a feeling we're about to get relegated. What a mess. Going backwards. Twice in 3 years. Now, the good thing, the good news is we have recruited well. The team's going to get better. But the garbage of a team that I took over is just that. They're garbage. Middle Tennessee, 12-11, and on the road. So, this will put the nails in the coffin if we lose this game. If we lose this game, we're almost guaranteed relegation. And could be, if things don't go our way elsewhere. And there it is. Is it mathematically impossible now? It is. We can win all 3 games the rest of the way, and we'll be 5-11, which means we're still going to be in the bottom 4. It takes 6 wins to get out right now, and we cannot do that. And we have Ole Miss coming up, who's number 1 in the conference, and we're on the road. So, say goodbye to Conference G. 2 relegation years and 3 seasons. Ouch. I didn't see that coming. I knew we weren't going to be as strong as last year. But I didn't think they were going to be this bad. Ugh. Garbage. We just did not develop the players. Just did not develop this year at all. It was really unfortunate. Really unfortunate. I mean, to see the potential is there. That was the thing. You know, last year's team had multiple starters in the starting lineup that were 3 stars out of 3 stars, or 3.5 stars out of 3.5 stars. They were guys that reached their potential. Potential wasn't good, but they reached their potential. I'm looking right now at, freshmen in the starting lineup. A transfer, JC transfer, yes, he's a junior, but instantly comes in as our best player. Ramey, who was a starter last year as a freshman, I thought for sure that he was going to develop. He was a 2-star. He came back 2 stars. Runyon, again, started last year, 2 stars, came back 2 stars. So these guys didn't develop when they should have. Now, they shouldn't be 4 stars this year. They're only sophomores. We are so freaking young. But they should have developed some. These guys should have been 2.5 stars, maybe 3 stars. They didn't change, though. Crosby, a senior, came back as a 2-star guy. Williams, I think he was 1.5 stars, so he developed some. But you can see, up and down the board that we just didn't get what was expected. And you look up and down the board, it's freshman and sophomore through most of the roster. Delord being an exception to that, as he was a JC transfer. But we got a couple seniors going out, and then we got a couple juniors, and that's it. So I'm really young. We're going to get better. We will improve, but ouch. Just ouch. Okay, let's finish the season off. Nothing to see here. Scouting reports at this point don't matter. Even the box scores, not a big deal. I'm right at the end of the time for the episode. We will not be participating in the conference tournament, and we are absolutely not going to be in a postseason tournament of any kind, not with this ugly, ugly record that we have this season. It would be nice if we can get a win in those last 2. It would be really nice if we could at least beat Boise State. Sorry, I live in Washington. There are plenty of blue and orange wearers around here that are Boise State fans or even alumni, and I'm friends with some of them. I've been on their field. And I don't necessarily have a problem with Boise State, per se. But I kind of do. I do have some bias. There are really just a few schools that I have issues with. And let me lay it out for you real quick and easy as we wrap up the episode here, why I have some sort of bias against those schools. One that's shared by many. A lot of people have issues with... by the way, we're 3-11. We're 3-11. We just beat the number one team in the conference. We just beat Ole Miss. Are you kidding me? On the road, no doubt. Boise State's next. We have identical records overall, and I would like to get this win. Finish on a high note. Anyway, Alabama, as a football program, they've been dominant too long. So I don't hate them. I don't have a problem with them. There's nothing wrong with Alabama. But I've had enough of seeing them win in the sport. In basketball, you could almost say the same of like Duke or North Carolina. Louisville at the top for a long time. Kansas at the top for a long time. But there's diversity in that. You don't get the same team year after year after year winning. Maybe you get the same teams in the Final Four for the most part, year after year. And I tend to root against them each year, going, come on, let's see somebody else. Let's see Gonzaga win it. Let's see the Ducks actually win it again. By the way, the Ducks won the first ever March Madness tournament, first ever NCAA tournament. And that's the only championship they've won in basketball. But there's enough diversity in the winner that I don't necessarily have an opponent in basketball that I look at them and go, oh, I want to see them go down. And even, as a University of Oregon alumni, for us, our main rival is Washington. Well, I live in Washington. I grew up in Washington. I very nearly went there instead of U of O. So, yeah, I don't have that deep-seated rivalry feel that a lot of others have. I like the rivalry with the Beavers a little bit more. I have some of my own extended family that are Beavers that went to Oregon State. And so we enjoy that rivalry, but it's a friendly rivalry. It's family, and I otherwise have no reason to really hate on them. And like when their baseball program has gone and won some national championships, I absolutely rooted for them, and I would absolutely root for any Pac-12 school when the time came, because that's my conference, and I want to see my conference do well. But the ones that I do dislike. And by the way, we do finish 5-11. Are you kidding me? After all of that, we pull off the wins at the end, 3 straight. We win 5 of 6 down the stretch, but it's not enough. The one lost Middle Tennessee on the road. 4 of 6 were at home. We beat Ole Miss 87-83. We beat up on Boise State. Thank you, and even Southern Illinois, pretty comfortable in the end. So, look at that. Such a good start to the season. And then absolute garbage. Oh my goodness, we lost 11 games in a row. Lost 11 in a row. 10 of those in conference. A lot of them were road games. We had a really rough first half of the schedule here. Second half was a little more forgiving, and we absolutely played well. In the end, we got ahead of Charlotte. We got level with DePaul. We couldn't even... So 6 and 10 still wouldn't have been enough. We still would have been in the bottom 4. 7 and 9 is what it took to survive. So we still came up 2 games short, waiting out and winning 5 of the final 6. I'm going to go ahead and just sim on through this. Take it a day at a time here. You can at least kind of see. I won't talk about it. You can look, keep an eye out for the matchups here. You can see the conference tournament, see ultimately who wins. We'll check on the final at least to see who won that. But anyway, in football, Alabama so consistent, so dangerous, so tough that yes, I rooted for Clemson to beat them. Now that Clemson's done that a fair amount recently, I'm going to probably start to feel similarly about Clemson. But yeah, as a school, Alabama, it's like, yeah, I've seen enough. And so I would root against them in virtually any sport right now. Again, nothing wrong with them, just that they've won enough already, as it is. But the two schools I have a problem with, Notre Dame, I've talked extensively about that one in the past. Notre Dame, non-aligned in football. They don't have a conference, and they really beat the system. They don't play fair. They've got their exclusive contract with NBC where they make a ton of money, and they get all that free advertising that isn't consistent elsewhere. Of course, lots of conferences have their own networks now, Pac-12 Network, SEC, so on. It's changed the game a little bit. And as you can see, Notre Dame has really dropped off this year. Yeah, they got into a BCS. Were they in the playoff? Slaughtered? Absolutely manhandled? They didn't belong there. They get to where they are because they have a cakewalk of a schedule besides a few games against tough opponents that they play every year. Most years, they lose all of those games, yet they have weeks and weeks to prepare for them because they play absolute crap teams the rest of their schedule. So it bothers me that they can stack the schedule in a certain way that favors them, that makes life easy for them, that boosts their profile unjustly. So that's where I fall into a bit of an issue for them. Nobody declared for the draft. Finalists, Nate Rivers still on top, so there you go. So that's always bothered me. And then, of course, I had the added bias that one of those years, Ducks were ranked 5th in the nation. They were ranked 6th in the nation. There was one spot left for... and USC was going to the national championship, so they already had locked down one of the BCS games. This was pre-playoff. That was the year that USC and Texas were playing for the national championship. Very exciting game. Meanwhile, the Ducks were right there, so close. If Dixon hadn't taken a horrific injury and missed a few weeks, we would have been in the national championship, but nobody remembers that part. They remember the exciting Vince Young national championship game. Well, anyway, Ducks just missed on a BCS Bowl. Guess who got it? 6th ranked Notre Dame. We both played Stanford. The Ducks... anyway, long story short, Ducks should have had it. We had the better record. Identical records. Tougher schedule. Better standing in head-to-head matchups. So on and so forth. And Notre Dame was selected and the Ducks weren't. It was a committee that chose them. And why did they choose them? Because of marketing. Ducks weren't yet the national brand that they are now in football. And they selected Notre Dame over us. Criteria out the window. They were going to make more money having Notre Dame in that bowl game than they were going to make for having the Ducks there. And that's why they selected them. And at the time, felt it was very unjust. And still to this day, 13 years later, whatever it is, still a little bitter about that one. So yeah, I've got an issue with Notre Dame. I at least have it grounded on more than one thing. It's not just the one time that we were screwed over, right, by the committee. Here's that conference tournament, by the way. But additionally, it was, it went beyond that. It was, they don't play the system fair. Here's semifinals. But the other school that I've had a little bit of an issue with, and this one is less so, not as strong. Back to Boise State, and that's where this all started. This conversation, this story. We had a pretty big rivalry with them, and that was the rivalry that I supported more than anything else. And it started with them and Peterson not just the junk plays that they called the garbage plays, the putting the football on the ground, which is a dead ball, and faking it, their Statue of Liberty plays, and so on and so forth. It's Hawaii who ended up winning the conference tournament, by the way. Just the way they conduct themselves, and their blue field, which I told you I've been on that field. You can't see a freaking thing when it's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the evening. The sun is bearing down and reflecting off that field, and then they're wearing similar blue jerseys. You can't even see them. It is an absolute unfair advantage. That's where I take issue. And then the way they play, the way they try to cheat and try to fake you out with that instead of playing legitimately. And admittedly, there was a time where the Ducks themselves would run a lot of trick plays, and I didn't care for that too much. It's not legitimate. Trying to fool people, trying to trick them instead of beating them legitimately on talent, on skill, on athleticism, on heart. Anyway, took issue to that, and then there was that whole taunting thing, and LeGarrette Blount and punching, and then him being villainized when he was just defending himself. A little bit rightly so. I mean, he did punch the guy, but anyway. Long rivalry, so don't care too much for Boise State. Not as strongly as I take issue with Notre Dame, though. That's one that I feel pretty just for. Likewise, BYU has tried to go that route of late, but they haven't benefited from it. They went the same route as Notre Dame, tried to drop the conference thing and set up their own personal network as advertising, propaganda. Didn't care for that too much, but it hasn't really taken off to become a thing in the way that Notre Dame has taken advantage of their little niche thing. Anyway, we're out of time here, so that's going to end up doing it for this episode. So Hawaii has gone on to win the conference tournament. They will be promoted. Didn't catch who the third one or who the fourth one will be, but it looks like it would be Tulane, most likely. But it depends on kind of who got where in the conference tournament. But Mississippi, Middle Tennessee, Hawaii all going up next season. We've got Kent State, myself, DePaul, and Charlotte going down. And we're going to be visiting Conference H next year. The three that are going up, Missouri, Old Dominion, North Carolina, Greensboro. Not sure who their fourth is, but it could very well be Miami. On the way out are these guys. So I'll be playing with East Tennessee Air Force. Oh gosh, I hate saying their name because I never hear anyone ever pronounce it anywhere, ever. And French, not exactly my friend, but Duquesne, I don't know. College of Charleston, Chattanooga, Texas Christian, TCU, Rutgers, Bowling Green, likely the teams that are going to be who we go up against next year. That's going to do it for this episode. I'm Decathlon Gamer, and remember, I'm aiming for the best of the best. So if you're ready to join me on my journey, hit subscribe, and tune in next time on my Road to the Record. Bye for now.